Hi everyone, this is Ricky Love, and we have a couple of folks other than me today to discuss and brief on COVID-19. There's a couple of references we use today. Obviously, there are far more, but those are very good references so far. Screen this up, to the state. Specifically CDC sites, everybody should make it as a homepage for this time. Hopkins has an excellent review and guidance. So I will highly recommend, especially if you like to know a little bit more about the scientific fact and clinical outcomes and things like that. It's a great reference. So it's right here. All right, let me go back. Okay, just hold on a second. I just want to find, oh yes, the most important things first, right? So it is important that if you haven't find this page, right, because there are a lot of rumors and fears going around on the media, one in doubt, just come here and cdc.gov, right? It has a very good series of tools and facts, right? So you could kind of compare the contrast. Here's the official site, find the local information and how to prepare yourself. It is, I noticed that each township has readiness set up. So it is important to have a cdc.gov, but also to find local information. Your probably town hall or a township already, or city already probably communicated with you about how to deal with medical things as well as grocery and transportation. Just keep that in mind, that maybe useful not just for yourself, but maybe for your neighbor and a loved one. All right. Let me go through the microbiology. Now that's kind of his area. Coronaviruses, that's what we are talking about, are positive sense, single-stranded, enveloped RNA virus belonging to the family Corona. I don't know how to correctly pronounce it.
It's called coronaviruses.
Coronaviruses. Coronavirus name derived from the Latin corona, meaning crown. Viral envelope under electron microscope. Scopy appear crown-like due to small bulbar projections formed by the viral spike. Peppomers, right? So, so coronavirus been known for a while. You probably know the name SARS and MERS. Those are known coronaviruses, right? I'm sorry? Yes.
Yeah, and about 20% of colds are caused by corona, the same class of viruses, common cold.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. So this is not new to us, right? And then it's also interesting that it's a zoonotic infection, meaning that it's originally from animal, right? And somehow they learn to cross infect the human. So in original form, it was not infectious to human, but some kind of mutation or some cross-species barrier. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I mean, it's theorized. I mean, a lot of these viruses, especially the SARS-1 and the SARS-2, which SARS-2 is now the corona, right, the COVID-19. They originated in cultures, which is, I think, China, and they also originated in the Middle East, and they tend to eat really fresh meat very, very close after they kill the animal, and they have markets that sell this fresh meat. In the Western world and other parts of the world, people typically will store the meat for a period of time, age the meat, and things like that, which allow these viruses to be basically destroyed by other bacteria in the meat. But what's happening is, so you have this animal that has this virus, and it's too close contact with humans. It's an abnormally close transfer to a human. That's why you have this zoonosis occurring in particular parts of the world usually.
Okay. Then we're gonna go to, hold on, clinical. Okay. So it is interesting, COVID-19 is a disease itself. And like he says, SARS-CoV-2, right, is a virus. So the virus itself is not new, but this particular type is a new one. So on that, which is a good thing, we're not dealing with completely new virus. Okay, so we have some type of information already. On upswing in many countries, because it's outside of China now, outnumber, including the COVID-19 cases reported in most countries performing testing, and all continents except Antarctica declared the pandemic, right, by WHO. Again, I said this is coming from Johns Hopkins. This is a very good site. I highly recommend to for somebody curious George to look over if you are interested in more. Older age, especially 65 years and older, people with comorbidity appear more likely to develop an infection, that's severe symptom, and die. So don't worry, we're gonna go through a little bit more. Okay, and transmission by air respiratory droplet and by fomite. I never heard this word, but virus found in respiratory secretion and saliva. Stool shedding also described, but uncertain what role, if any, that play. Okay. So this is a kind of important information here. Incubation period, the means is 6.4 days, ranging 2 to 12, right? For people, 14-day observation recommended, just to be on the safe side, right? To exclude the infection. Though 24-day asymptomatic time from exposure described. So a lot of people, I understand, based on, I also had a couple of conversations with my parents in Japan. A lot of people are very asymptomatic and just don't even have a symptom. And sometimes even I have younger people I hear from, at least this is in Japanese story in Japan, if you are young and it doesn't have a comorbidity issue, even though you're hospitalized, come out and just totally fine.
It ranges anywhere from about 50% on up. Patients are probably asymptomatic here. So that's also important to note when you're looking at mortality rates too.
Yes, we're gonna go over that as well. So it is good and bad. It's not something that it's meningitis or some other scary infection, that Ebola, for example. We're gonna cover everything and run. No, likely you're gonna be fine. Another side of the story is you really don't know who is a carrier, right? So until we have a vaccine or a very well streamlined treatment, be able to handle mass, right? This kind of fearfulness probably continue. The more we know about it, how we could deal with, you will be better prepared and less likely go into the mass confusion. Okay, let me just go in here. Did I just say this one? Okay. So incubation period is redundant, but the symptom are listed below. So again, it is very good. Please don't freak out because you have a fever and running nose. Oh my goodness, like the video said, likely if you are coughing out something, which means a productive cough, likely you
wet
don't.
Cough. Yeah.
Okay, that's why you guys say okay. Likely it's not. And if you have a running nose, that's also a good sign you don't have this one, likely. So, but those are the affected wide variety of symptoms, just like typical cold does. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to show this one here. Okay. All right. How did I get here? No, I just want to say go into more mortality things. Okay, here you go. So it is important because a lot of scary information, going out. So I just want to make sure we have a fact here. So obviously nobody has a complete data because everybody developing story. But to this date, like early data from China, there appear to be great variability among the country, with Italy appearing higher than others. The mortality rate from recent analysis of China experience, right? Collaborating Center, Imperial College London, UK. Hunan, no, it's not Hunan. Wuhan, excuse me.
Which is where it originated.
Yes. I was thinking about the food here. Case fatality rate 1.38%, 0.66% if asymptomatic cases are included. So it is less than 1%.
Right. And currently the U.S. statistics show about 1.36% mortality rate of the patients that have been diagnosed so far with COVID-19. Again, considering probably at least half of the patients are asymptomatic and never tested, it's suggested that this will drop probably at least by two or three fold, which would probably generally put it in the range of the yearly flu. Although the problem with COVID-19 is it's more communicable than the yearly flu.
So this is this is the things we need to know. The mortality rate is less than the commonly ascribed to severe community-acquired pneumonia, but more than seasonal influenza. So this is kind of the range. So it's not too scary, but it should be cautious, that kind of things, right? Okay, I'm just gonna show you the, here you go. This I wanted to also share. Here are the tables. So you have a better understanding. Clearly, the majority of those less than 1% population who face those severe cases are elder population, right? So you probably, if you are probably worrying about parents or loved one, those people are definitely extremely careful. Also, the people who are taking ACE inhibitor, like the cardiovascular, complete, more severe case I'm talking about, right? It's not like you have a tendency of diabetes, but if you're taking some meds to control because of the disease progress, those are the kind of people that you need to take extra measure because you really don't want to go in the hospital.
Or anybody who is immunosuppressed, like a patient who has cancer.
Yes, also the
or autoimmune disease that's taking a immunosuppressive agent.
Correct, absolutely. Clearly, you don't want to visit those people at this moment, right? There's a lot of unthinkable doctor even exists, so it's kind of this is something we just have to kind of keep eye on. Now, I just want to go back. Interesting, the cover that published, this is Chinese medical journal. So yes, it is a speculation, but a lot of differences pointing out that the original transmission started from the bat. And immediately came to my mind the movie, the film Contagious, remember?
Contagion?
Yeah, that is also kind of showing this, it's just a little bit more like it's become sci-fi, but so again, this is the one of the
go ahead.
One of the articles showing the theorized view of how it became, and I also read an article about there's a couple of amino acids being modified. The current COVID-12, which is 2 amino acid was changed on the protein from the spike portion of the virus. The spike is attachment point where they have a latch on to the receptor, and looks like because of this mutation caused cross species, because previously it's only been infected non-human. So this is the theory that originated from the bat and intermediate host. So it's not came from directly bat to human. They have to cross other species. So that is seemed to be the commonly accepted theory.
It's called the Chinese tangle.
Yeah, that's what is armadillo look like things, right?
It's an endangered species in Southeast Asia.
That kind of makes sense why it started over there. But anyway, now it came to us. I think it's no matter what, it's probably matter of time, right? Those things are just lurking. All right, and we're gonna show this. Maybe it'll be too much for some of you, but I just want you to know that this virus itself cannot survive. They don't have much wisdom. For example, the virus, look at this structure here, right? They don't even have a complete apparatus to replicate itself. So their goal is to latch on and go inside the cell as soon as possible. Otherwise, they die. So that's why they have this spike, right? That's why they call corona. But each spike is kind of target to latch on to the receptor. In this case, angiotensin converting enzyme 2. So those are the receptor mainly seen on the surface of the throat, in some in a mouse, and a kidney, but it's kind of hard to go right to the kidney. So usually the original entry is some kind of epithelial cell expressing this receptor. So this is another reason why certain people are perhaps more susceptible than others. If you have many receptors showing up on the surface, likely that the same number of the virus is there, likely this person will be likely, invite those viruses more. So if you are, like I mentioned earlier, if you're a smoker, those receptors are going to be upregulated. Or if there's some kind of inflammation, or it will also upregulate, right? So the best not to smoke at this time. But anyway, once they enter, they're going into the series of process to replicate itself. They basically invite and to start to constructing the apparatus to make themselves and more. So clearly, depending on how much of the virus you're in, this the duration and the severity, the manifestation, it probably differ.
So they essentially hijack the host cells. Basically, they use the host cells machinery to replicate themselves, because on their own, they have no ability to replicate or be alive.
Yeah.
So they're called it would be an obligate intracellular parasite.
So now you notice that in order for them, it's a receptor to receptor interaction is a must, but it's also the head, the right head of the virus is made of lipid. So I'm not sure it's gonna help people. This is what it looks like I said, a spike is a place of the attachment. And you see the envelope, the purple one, and which is also, not the envelope, membrane right here. So any type of lipid, like a soap, right, will bust open this membrane. That's why any kind of soap is very effective to kill this virus, because it exposes the nucleus and they're dead. They can no longer infect. And then also very heat sensitive, so it will denature the virus quite easily. So that's going to kill this virus. Any UV light is also the kill the virus. So any day that very sunny, those are probably the day that I will target to go out and do grocery to get things done, right? Likely virus not gonna survive. Okay.
And then generally also, I mean, the more humid it is, the better it is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, drink enough water. Another good thing is that, I'm sorry, I'm just showing this, but just please ignore that for the time being. It is not a bad idea to have a glass of water next to your bed, and because it's been very drying, especially here where we live. Mm-hmm. So heater is on during the night. Our heater system is relatively better, but if you have a forced air system, it's completely dry the entire room. So you
should probably have a humidifier in your room,
right?
Because that will prevent your throat from drying, and the drier your throat is, the more easily, if the virus happens to be around, it could actually go into your respiratory system. Otherwise, typically it would stay in your mouth and go down your esophagus and be killed in your stomach.
Right, as long as it's moving. So don't give the virus the chance to attach. So I told you that the spike is everywhere. So what's it going to do is you want to go inside before they be washed off, right, being killed. So longer they give you chance for the virus to hang around, the more chance to get in. Normally, if your throat is wet, it's not because of wet, because the water is there, because your mucus is there to protect your cell. And so that means the virus is going to slip through, can't latch onto it. It's not because water is keep rushing through, because you can't do that. Keep your mouth closed if you can. And then if you have a humidifier, pick the good one. So you have a filter systems on, so it's not like a keep reagitating, those virus and bacteria. So that's a really good point. I always tell everybody in my family, I have a salt water in a sink. You gargle it first, because you don't immediately gargle it. You wash your mouth first, right? And then you gargle. It will prevent a lot of those bacterial viruses, not just SARS-CoV-2, but other one. It's a good practice.
Just for your general health.
General health, and when you come back from the walk or something, just to wash and gargle, and that itself will prevent the majority of the virus entry. So this is a key. To stop the entry and stop the contact to the infected individual. That will prevent you from the much of those exposure. Now, I'm just showing the diagnosis. Currently, the most for sure molecular diagnosis is the PCR, the genomic testing. Basically, identify the viral retention, right? There's another couple of different systems to predict, because based on the manifestation, how your immune system reacted to the virus entry. So you could do the differentiation of those immune cells and be able to identify the likeliness of the infected individual. But I think that most people do not need.
Most of the tests now are basically quantitative PCR, looking for the viral genome.
That should be the most specific really and an accuracy, right? Okay. Do this again and come back here. And let me see. And then I'm gonna just show the current ongoing treatment. So this is clinicaltrials.gov. We use this as ct.gov, and this is the official source and updated more than daily to show that what kind of trial is going on related to these illnesses. Currently, I just did this a few hours ago, 158 studies ongoing for the trials, and most of them trials probably expedited because of the situation now. There's a lot of things going around as a potential treatments.
Right now, the World Health Organization is initiating a large trial that was initially based on the ability of different agents to combat coronavirus in the test tube, and now they're basically essentially testing these in patients.
So I'm sure that everybody, seeking the answer, vaccine, the miracle drug, I'm sure. But I'm going to stop here, and let me see if I missed anything. I don't think so. Yeah, let me stop here now, and if you have any kind of question or comments, please.
Would you like for me to stop the recording here and we can do the questions off?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do that. Let's stop the recording.
Okay.